You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our audience, welcome to the webinar hosted by the African Training Institute from Pretoria, South Africa. I hope you can hear us loud and clear. Please, we would like to welcome you. May you just type and tell us where you're listening from. Just let us know where you're listening from. You can just type in there in our chat box and let us know where you're listening from. I've seen some few chats already coming in. All right, while we prepare to get started, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Privilege G. Madovi. I'm the Managing Director for African Training Institute. And with me is Mr. Augustus Makovere there. Mr. Augustus, you can take a minute just to greet the audience.
Hello, everyone. Thank you and welcome to the webinar. I'm Augustus Makovere, as Privilege has just said. I'll be also taking part in this webinar. We'll be sharing. I'm HR strategist, as Privilege has just said. My areas of specialization: leadership development, management development, HR strategy, and the rest of it.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, now, prior to us starting, I will just give a brief introduction. For those who are coming in, we welcome you. We see we have listeners from Zambia, Eswatini, all the way from Sudan. Those who just came in now, please just show your presence by just typing in our chat box where you're listening from. Just type your city or your country where you're listening from. We welcome you all. We'll be starting the webinar shortly. If you have missed our introductions, with me, myself, Privilege Madovi, is Augustus Makovere. Thank you. I see more coming from Juba, Zimbabwe, Malawi. We welcome you all. Please just let us know where you're listening from, and also indicate if you can hear us loud and clear all the way from Maputo. Welcome. Angola. Welcome, welcome. All right, I'll just start by giving an introduction. As more come, I see we have Rwanda, Ethiopia, all the way. All right, I'll just now get started with a brief introduction and the layout, how we'll be conducting this webinar. So I'm just gonna throw in my slides for now, just as an introduction. So as I indicated, that's my full name. And the presenters for today, that's myself, PG Madovi, and Eima Kovere, whom you see alongside me. In brief, this is me, just my brief profile. I'm a certified principal business advisor by the Institute of Business Advisors of Southern Africa. I have been mostly in the service industry for almost all the time of my working life. Qualifications wise, my highest is an MTech in business admin, among other various qualifications. So that's just me in brief. I will move on to introduce the organization, which is the host organization, the African Training Institute. We are into capacity building. We offer training and development. We have clientele in different countries across the African continent and beyond. Governments, parastatals, NGOs. We offer in-house training, research, and team building activities. So in a nutshell, capacity building is what we do. Then these are corporate memberships. We are a proud member of the Southern African Association for the Conferencing Industry and also the local quality regulator, South African Quality Institute, and the last two fall under the Ministry of Higher Education and Training, which are what we call the Sector Education Training and Authority. So we conform to their standards and stipulations. So that's our corporate memberships. So today's topic, this is the layout of our presentation, how we're going to do it. Just in about 2 minutes or so, I'll be handing over to Mr. Makovere, who will be dealing with this first topic, leadership in terms of COVID-19. Then I'll come back with another different topic.
Correction, Mr. Makovere.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'll be starting with moving smoothly with a shift. Just, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that correction. So that's how business can move swiftly with the shift. That will be his first topic of presentation. All right, then I'll come in with mine in tips, resilience, adaptability. Then you come back with the leadership one. Then I'll come back with just some corners and closure thereafter. So we'll be together in plus or minus 1.5 hours. We hope you benefit more from this webinar. Once again, I welcome you. I'm just looking at the chat box. We have all the way from Nigeria, Bangladesh, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Eswatini, Zambia, Kenya, Tanzania. We welcome you all. Thank you. So now I will hand over to Augustus for his first presentation. So along while you are together there, please, if our audience gives you challenges, please let us know by just dropping us a chat in the chat box there. We'll be closely watching it for your benefit. And stay put. We have some nuggets that we are sure you enjoy. Thank you, Augustus. Over to you.
Thank you, Privilege. Let me just go to my slide. Just a second, getting started. Yes, welcome everyone once again. As Privilege just introduced, I'm Augustus Makovere, HR strategist. I have more than 25 years in HR and in training. Education is also my other area of specialization and training management. I'll be taking you through my first session, which is how businesses can smoothly move with the shift. As you know, we are in these very trying times of COVID-19. COVID-19, which is a global societal shock. I think wherever we are right now, we are impacted by COVID-19 in one way or the other. And we're trying to find ways and means of how we can manage that. This has had a deadly human toll. We are around 2 million people dead now. As we all know, COVID-19 has disrupted businesses and livelihoods of millions of people across the globe. Inflation is also going up. And wherever we are, our income levels, our pockets have been impacted by COVID-19. And worse, it has actually affected the way in which we interact with one another and the way we relate on a day-to-day basis. So this has become a very big issue. And we are going to talk about the impact as well on how COVID-19 has impacted the health impact and how that has affected businesses and individual incomes and businesses in terms of their profitability and the rest of it. We are saying here that healthy of employees is very important, because a healthy and happy workforce will improve the way we work and improve productivity and help our economies grow. So it will actually bring a lot of competitiveness. Sorry.
Just some technical glitch there. Please bear with us. I see Augustus just left the room. Please bear with us while we try to reconnect him. Augustus? Just a moment, we'll just reconnect him shortly. Please just give us 2 minutes. Sorry about that.
Welcome again, everyone. Sorry for the small hiccup we've just had. I would like to proceed with the presentation. Like I was saying, health of employees is very important because it helps in terms of productivity and the economy. The of impact businesses. Running businesses in the face of the global pandemic has led to a lot of chaos and disruption, and unsafe workplaces, low competitiveness, and there's been a lot of experimentation. If you look at the image there, the virus itself and the impact there on the business. So we are saying, first with this monster, what should we do? We are saying this is the time we need to rethink the way we've been doing things. This is the time to come up with big ideas. This is the time for a paradigm shift in terms of the way we've been doing things before COVID, and the way we are doing things now, and the way we'll do things in the future. There's going to be a lot of shifts. We need to renew our focus and reposition ourselves to deal with these current challenges and also those challenges which are going to emerge. And we are saying this is the time when we need anti-fragility mindset. Talking of anti-fragility, here we are saying this is the property of systems that increase in capacity to thrive as a result of stressors, shocks, volatility, noise, mistakes, faults, attacks, or failures, according to Professor Nassim Nicholas Taleb. So we are saying, as much as COVID-19 has impacted our lives, we can still pick ourselves up. It can still create opportunities for us to do things differently and do things even better than the way we've been doing our business. In terms of COVID-19 impacting on our social lives, we are saying, how will we connect? As we all know, technology has taken over. Right now, we are on Zoom. Yes, we are facing slight challenges here and there, but this is the new world we have to deal with. Zoom is here to stay. All this tech is here to stay. In terms of in-person, we are all aware of what COVID-19 has done. We can hardly come close to each other now. We are now forced to work in small groups, and the social gathering, which has become fashionable. Maybe there are some questions which we should be asking ourselves. How can we as individuals and organizations protect ourselves from the impact of this virus and emerge stronger? How can we use the prevailing trends to adapt our organization and workforce to shape the new situation? And what are some of the no regrets actions leaders can take to emerge from this crisis? I think there are much more questions we can ask, but for now we will try and answer these particular questions. Adapting technology is one way. We can try and move smoothly and remain competitive. We need to build on what we already have in terms of technology and strengthen what we already have been doing. Yes, COVID-19 came, and there was already a lot of pressure in terms of improving performance using the various technological technologies around us. So we are saying that technology can help make individuals and organizations more resilient by reducing the spread of the coronavirus while it's helping businesses stay open. In actual fact, according to McKinsey and partners, they are saying there's been like 2 billion more consumers on the online shopping than there were before COVID-19. Just as one example. And I'll also be sharing with you some of the examples as we go on with the presentation. So we are saying organizations need to accelerate the adoption of agile fit for purpose IT solutions. There are so many technologies around, but we will need to find what is best for us and what is best for our own business. So we are saying that we need to adapt technology, but be very careful in terms of which technologies we are going to bring in. We know our businesses are at different stages in terms of their performance. They are different sizes, and we operate in different environments. So it has to be something which is affordable and which can meet our needs. Also, talking of technologies, here, as you can see on my table there, Zoom tops weekly download charts. As from the 26th of March to the 1st of April, downloads on Zoom went up as much as 3.2 million downloads, according to the data there from Prairie Data. And you can also see the other platforms. There's also been a lot of uptake of the various technologies available. This has enabled people to move forward in this kind of in the COVID-19 environment. I'm sure we have all adapted different ways of working, home-based as a way of trying to cope with the situation, with the new environment. Remote working, a lot of people are now working from home, and business has continued. We have tried to remain in touch with our clients and with our colleagues whilst we are operating from home. Machine learning has also come in to help us in so many other aspects of our lives. And as we work from home, we'll continue to use, to rely on our desktops, their desktop computers, and that will keep us again in touch with all our other stakeholders. So talking of remote working, we are saying it serves the needs of individual employees as they work individually from home, provides businesses with new, resilient, and adaptive ways to engage with their ecosystems and deliver their economic value. So it has also helped in terms of preventing the So COVID-19 has also helped in terms of addressing the challenges around COVID-19 technology, as it has allowed people to work wherever they are. Virtual private networks and virtual meetings have also helped businesses in terms of how they hold their meetings and come up with decisions, and also collaborate in various ways. We can see there, the lady is working from home. She's relaxed, she's doing work, and she can still deliver on her mandate. Distance learning has also become it's a big issue now. It has expanded to a very large extent. Almost all universities and colleges have significantly increased online teaching, including the old universities which had remained traditional, some of the top universities in the world. One of the professors was actually saying within a week, they had done so much in terms of online learning than they would have done in the old years before. Because there's been a lot of resistance, but now with COVID-19, we have had the opportunity to embrace this online teaching. Digital and countless payments, that is in the form of cards, e-wallets, being used more often. That is also initially meant to avoid the spread of the disease. But this has actually made life easy for a lot of people, as they can also do their transactions online. So we are saying there's been challenges with the old traditional businesses, which has led to closure. And COVID-19 has transformed online shopping from nice to have to a must have around the whole world. Amazon has topped the charts. People across the globe are now online as a result of not being able to go to the various shopping malls. As you can see, the lady there, she's alone at her shop, and the shop is actually becoming outdated as the place is completely neglected now, because these things can now be done from anywhere. Online entertainment, that is cloud raves, online streaming of concerts, have gained traction around the world. Films are now running online. Museums and international heritage sites, they are also offering virtual tours, which has allowed people to transition around the challenges of COVID-19. Supply chain, which had actually remained old-fashioned, it has been renewed with the emergence of greater use of big data, cloud computing. The Internet of Things has improved the movement of goods, and this has made life easier and even made business more efficient, as they've come up with new plans in terms of being able to source goods locally and being able to get things just on time. Robots and drones have also emerged in various areas where we are saying to prevent the spread of the virus, autonomous cleaning robots have been used to disinfect areas and to deliver food to those in quarantine. And the drones have also been used to walk dogs and deliver items. As you can see there, this has actually helped in terms of people learning to do things differently and taking advantage of technology. So in conclusion, I'm saying COVID-19 has demonstrated the importance of digital readiness, how ready we are in terms of technology, Are we ready to take the new challenges using the available technology? Businesses must build the necessary infrastructure to support a digitalized world and stay current. There is no other option. There is need to ensure everyone has the ability to use technology tools seamlessly. And going digital also requires a level of reskilling, which will be required, upskilling, and even re-education. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope or confidence. And this is according to Helen Keller, the American author and political activist. So as we look into the future, we need to look into the future with optimism and hope. And once again, we need to follow the guidelines. We are saying, let's make sure that the spread of the virus is controlled. Wash our hands, stay home, avoid touching, avoid close contact, and cover our mouths and our nose. Thank you very much, and apologies for the small hiccup, which has taken us a little bit off balance, but that is what technology is bringing with it, and we need to live with that as we move into the future. So thank you very much to everyone for listening. We'll meet again on the next session. Over to you, Privilege.
All right, thank you, Augustus. It's actually meeting again on the next presentation, not the next session. We are not yet done. So I'm just coming in with my topic, then Augustus will bounce back again with another topic. So we're still together. Right, I'll just bring in my slides as well. I've seen we have received more people in the room. Some came in from Tanzania, Lesotho, more Malawi, again, Zambia, Mauritius, Ethiopia, more and more. Welcome you. Please stay with us. Right, I'll bring in my presentation. Shortly, our basis here is considering the change that is happening, we have to be resilient and to adapt. Right, that's the perspective from which we are coming from. So as individuals, as organizations, change looms in, then we have to take action. Right, Augustus has mentioned a lot on resilience. Let me just bring in some few aspects to clarify and just to entice on resilience. Right, we have some terminologies here, some phrases: bounce back ability. That's recover from bad circumstance, which is the situation which we were in for the almost the entire part of 2020, and was still not out of danger. Right. Then Nelson Mandela said, the greatest glory of living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time you fall. We'll fall, but we have to rise. And Charles Darwin, the father of evolution, says it's not the strongest species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the most responsive to change. If our organizations are not resilient and adaptive at the present moment, they will deteriorate, they will die. But if they are able to survive like this species, they will survive. And lastly, what doesn't kill me makes me stronger. We are alive and we can still be able to do better. So that's just some tips on resilience. Not sure if my screen is very clear here. Just some general tips on resilience. Right, the aspects of bouncing back are there: adapting under pressure, thriving in disparate times because of pressure, right? Emotional flexibility, control over own workflow. So those are some of the aspects that we will look at in this presentation. I'm going to bring in a small clip just after we look at this, just to explain resilience further. right? We have three layers of resilience here. We said as an individual working for an organization, right? It takes you to transform the organization into the current norm, into the current situation, right? We have the individual coping skills, values, feeling valued, gallows humor, that's from the individual perspective. Then if we combine the individuals, they make up a team. And in totality, we have what we call team resilience. How do we handle pressure? How can you adapt to change? How much resilient are we as a team? Each individual team member has his own strength. That's the social support comes in, mentoring, sharing ideas, supervision. Then from there, the organization is transformed resilient-wise with our leadership, then create learning opportunities and development from mistakes. So it takes you and me for the business fraternity to move forward, to adapt, to be able to resist the current situation. All right, for now, let me just throw in a little clip which explains resilience. I'll throw in another clip in my closure, which will explain resilience way better again. So for now, let's just look at this. I hope we can
Morning, everyone! Who does it look like?
It looks like me.
That's right. I want you to do everything that you can to knock your toy down. Who is the strongest in class? Jeron, come on up, please. I'm going to give Jeron a prop, and he's going to try to knock it off the table. Ready, Jeron? Okay, children, who can tell me what it means to have resilience? Yes, Paige?
Resilience means if you make the toy fall down, it'll come back up very, very fast.
Very nice.
All right, what have you drawn? What have you learned from this clip? Please tell me. The chat box is open. Just in a very few words, just tell me not more than 5 words in the chat box. What have you learned from this clip? Any lessons drawn? Okay, please throw into the chat box any lessons drawn from this clip. I'm looking at the chat box there. What are the lessons drawn? What have we learned? While I'm waiting for that, I'll go back to my slides. I'll come back. Maybe the audience is still typing. I still some few coming in, but we'll come back to that. So you can keep throwing in the chat box. I'll come back in about 3-4 minutes back to look at the chat box. What have we drawn from that short clip as far as resilience is concerned? All right, then here we are. What do you do, or what do you suggest that others should do to help build resilience? Right? All right, before we get into that question, let me just look at some responses. Right, says rise up when you fall, don't stay down. Okay, that's an explanation definition of resilience from that video. This video is really interesting and learning. Then fall but bounce back. All right. When you fall down, get up and move on fast. This one did not say and move on. He said move on fast. I like that. All right. If you move slowly, again, the disaster will loom and catch up with you. Bounce back under all sorts of pressure. Right. Those are some, I'm just picking some randomly here. Right. So those are the lessons we have drawn from this short clip. Now let's look at the screen. I've posed a question here, right? We said we have 3 layers, right? Individual, team, and corporate as far as resilience is concerned. So now I'm saying, what do you do, or what do you suggest that others should do to help build resilience? That's a question that I'm again posing to the audience, just in not more than 5 words. Please throw in your responses there. What do you suggest others should do to help build resilience? All right, I'll be back to look at the chat box as far as this question is concerned. For now, I'm moving on, then I'll come back to look at the chat box later. So remember the question, what do you suggest that others should do to help build resilience? Let's look at it in times like this. All right, we move on. Right, some of the aspects that are key as far as building resilience is concerned, right? Decisiveness, acceptance, coronavirus is here, we accept it, what should we do, right? We should move out of denial and face reality. Meaningful activities, right? Spirituality, helpful thoughts, self-care, all the aspects that are more aligned to individual benefit are very important as far as getting out of the current situation is concerned. We are not practically getting out, but we are finding our way to adapt to the current situation. So those are some of the aspects which we should take into consideration. Right, some skills as far as resilience is concerned, right? Balance and recovery. Emotional resilience is very important as well because it starts by hitting the mind psychologically. So it's very important. It's a key aspect there. Then in terms of how we think, right? We'll talk about thinking a bit later on. Resilient thinking, flexible thinking, optimism, right? That's the time to work out negativity, right? Are you with me, Mr. Augustus?
Yes, sir.
All right.
We are together.
We proceed. Now we are together. Thank you. I'm going back to look at the chat box as far as that question is concerned. All right. Says pulling up others who might run down after falling. Right. We're answering that question we had earlier on. All right. Decisiveness, which is something that we've already seen there. Okay. Hold hands. Okay. Those are some of the ways in which we can help build resilience. Right. I think hold hands is 1,000 ways on its own. All right. This one says remain down. Not sure if what will be the clarity on remaining down there. Change focus, compare yourself with others under same circumstances. Ask yourself if you are happy with what you are doing. We have a lot of scholarly feedback here. All right, I see more and more coming. I'll just pick some few extra investment. All right. All right, let's proceed here. All right, that's an illustration here. Why zebras don't get ulcers while us human beings get them, right? There is what is called fear of the unknown. Zebras don't respond to the thoughts of lions, right? Otherwise, they'll be running every day in the jungle. They only respond when they see the lions. Unlike us human beings, right? We respond to thoughts, right? You may experience stress responsible in relation to thoughts as well as the real experiences of threat. we are not only threatened by what is there, but our thoughts, when we become pessimistic, negativity kicks in, then it gives us problem. We should adopt the zebra attitude in times like this and be able to move forward. So this is very important. All right, I will move on to the next. Right, the resilient way, right? Resilient organizations don't stay down. Yes, most organizations, I can say maybe plus or minus 6 months of 2020, you have not been effective. Jack Ma said, in 2020, if your business, you have survived, that's the profit. You don't necessarily need to have made a profit in this year, but the survival itself, you have made a profit. So from there, pick up the pieces, don't stay down, bounce back, and swiftly acknowledge the new norm. There is one gentleman who said, and move fast in my response there. So swiftly acknowledge the new norm. That is, this is the new norm. As Augustus was emphasizing that this is the shift and we are there, technology, everything. So we accept it. When we accept it already, we adapt. We move with the current situation. What have we learned from there? We draw lessons. When we draw the lessons, we implement them. Then we get into continuous improvement. We are good to go as an organization. That's being resilient, as you're emphasizing that we fall, but we do rise, pick up the pieces, adapt, and move forward. So that's very important. We would not sit and sulk and cry the whole of 2020. Something has to be done. All right, I will just look at attitude, right? Can you see my image there? It's an image which speaks 1,000 words, right? What is it? Why does it matter as far as the resilience is concerned? What's your attitude towards challenges? Is it the end of the day? Is the roof fallen over you? What do you feel? How do you feel as far as this situation is concerned? All right, thinking attitudes. Right. This one says life stinks. This one says you should have a more positive attitude, but still it says no, life stinks. Life is very difficult, right? So we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we think and respond. I saw this clip that one guy was saying, hey, we live once, right? So the other one says, point of correction, we live many, many years, we die once, right? That's different perceptions, different views as far as attitude is concerned. Right, what matters most is how you see yourself, right? We have this little dude here. When he looks in the mirror, you see what he sees, right? He sees himself as a big guy, right? That's his attitude towards, right? Whatever he wants to break into. He is saying, I'm ready to conquer, there is me, right? And whatever he has targeted is going to be cleared on that very particular day due to that positivity that he has. All right, I will throw in a clip, an image rather, which I'm going to show about not more than 3 seconds. And in that not more than 3 seconds, I want you to tell me in the chat box, what do you see in that image, right? I'll repeat, I'm going to show an image which will not show not more than 3 seconds. And in the chat box, I will need you to tell me what do you see. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 3 seconds gone. What did you see in this image? All right, I'm looking at my chat box there. I actually did more than 3 seconds there because after I did my counting, 1, 2, 3, I spoke some few words. What have you seen in that image? Please use the chat box there and tell me the image that I just shown. What did you see? Maybe I'll show it again for another second. There it is. What do you see there in that image? All right, the responses are coming. All right, I can see many. All right, I see some interesting ones. While some are saying a bird with a long beak, a bird snake, a rabbit, a bird, a cat and a lion's head. No, I'm referring to the one that I've shown for 3 seconds. A cat. Okay, the image I'm referring to that I said, what do you see, is this one. I'm just hiding it by coming back here, right? All right. Some have seen a bird. Some have seen a bird neck. Some have seen a bird beak, but they did not see the bird. They've seen the beak, right? Some have seen a bunny. I'm seeing very interesting responses here, Augustus. All right. Okay, before I get into it, let me ask my colleague here, what did he see? Augustus, what did you see in that image?
I saw a rabbit and I see the bird.
You've seen two images in one?
Yes, that's what I've seen.
Okay. All right. Oh, I have my old friend whom is also in the webinar here. I is saying I've seen a bird and on the other side, a horse head. That's Faraj Fash there. Greetings to you. All right. Now looking at it here we are. I will pass and say attitude is basically the way we look at things. So when we look at this, right, you are drawn to see a bird. Someone is drawn to see a rabbit, right? If you look on the right side of your screen, you see the mouth and the head move around. You see a rabbit and the neck. And at the back, those are ears of a rabbit, right? But if you look on the other side, you see what we are saying are ears of a rabbit. This is actually the beak of a bird, right? So some people got it right and say, I see a rabbit and a bird. The gentleman from Tanzania, Jumana Zaferi, says, I see a rabbit and a bird, right? One of the few who saw two things here. All right, so we are saying simply it's basically the way we look at things. That's attitude in a nutshell. Okay, I will proceed from here. Our attitudes towards new challenges, right? First up, to overcome the event, right? Ultimately, you benefit because you said, look at what's happening, move on. Oh, my apologies. I'm seeing in the chat box there, I said a gentleman, and she has corrected me from Tanzania. She said it's a gentlewoman. My apologies. So that's a gentlewoman, not a gentleman. Apologies there. All right. And ultimately benefit, right? Then first up, but do nothing about the event and still benefit. You are doing what we call a risk assessment here as far as the challenges are concerned. There are times that we can do nothing about the event. It's too big for us to deal with. That's either flight or a fight response correlated with distress or stress, right? Hence, it's not just think positive. It's about recognizing our responses and developing flexible thinking. We don't move blindly when disaster looms. We have to take what we call calculated movements. Here we are with this pandemic. What is the way forward as far as the organization is concerned? All right, the importance of thinking, right? We have what is called the CB model, which has the thoughts that hit our minds, feelings, behaviors. Thereafter, what do we do? Those are the physical responses. That means we think about the situation. What do we feel about it? Our behavior towards it. Then we take appropriate responses there. All right, for the sake of time, I will move a bit faster. Flexible thinking, testing negative thoughts and predictions, analyzing our thoughts, right? We have what are called thinking errors, which we have to go through another stage of critical analysis until we correct the thinking error. We bring the testing, negative thoughts, and predictions. Thereafter, the same cycle which we have discussed, right? What do we see thereafter the analysis, right? All right, I will proceed. Ask yourself the following questions. Is it a fact, right? It's proven statistically the coronavirus is here. We have seen practically the effects it has brought, devastating effects, which went as far as losing of our loved ones. The worst that can happen, right? We're talking of life, we're talking of economic deterioration. What does this say about me, right? What should you do? What does this say other people think of me, right? So these questions help us to get to the bottom of what we find threatening in a particular situation. Then we'll take appropriate responses, right? We have to create a balance on our thinking. Where is the evidence? It's plenty available. What are the exceptions? What is the whole picture? How would someone else, right, see this? What would they say? We're identifying the initial or unhelpful thought, put on the brakes. So we're balancing thinking. Remember, we're talking of pessimism versus optimism. Which way should we go? That's the thought balance. Right, in summary, we have to build psychological strength in times like this. We support each other. That way, we can be resilient, we can adapt to the new norm, the new way of doing things, and grow from challenges, right? All the challenges bring a lesson that we can always learn from, right? They say challenges are very important. Experience is the best teacher, so we always learn from that. And we are not there to stay. It is not a fixed state. We will move from there. Can develop and enhance in all three layers that we spoke about. Then practical strategies and flexible thinking comes in and be helpful. So meanwhile, we just have to hold on, right? So I will have another video that will be an explanatory video on resilience when I come back. In the meantime, I thank you for your attention. I will hand over back to Augustus. Then I'll come in for closure and to play that explanatory video. So let's stay together. Back to you, Augustus.
Thank you. Privilege, very interesting. Very interesting. I like the picture of the rabbit, or is it the bird?
Or is it both?
Or is it both? Should I stop from this side?
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Let me go back to my next presentation.
There you are.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. We're back again together for the next presentation. And on this one, my focus will be mainly on leadership. I would say it's more on leadership as well as people issues, in terms of, as we move with the shift, what are some of the people issues which we should be cognizant of, and how can we deal with these people issues? So the main purpose really is to say what can leadership do during these challenging times of COVID-19? What are the current capabilities in leadership, and what are the emerging or the future competencies which are going to be required for leaders of tomorrow? Things are definitely not going to remain the same, like Privilege has just said. There is going to be a new world, if you want to call it. I think I've talked a bit on that, the impact that this is, the bold and big changes, and these are definitely going to be led by us as the business leaders. And we will need to push beyond the way we have been doing things. So what we are saying here is that leadership is on test here. We are saying COVID-19 has become the crucible within which resilient leadership is going to be tested and defined. We know some of those challenges. We have already been going through these challenges, like acting without information. We had to make quick decisions to change direction in a moment with very limited time, with a lot of questions around whether we can do it. Do we have the resources? Do we have the capabilities, the people capabilities? Do we have the skills to deal with these changes? So what I'm saying here is that organizations will need to outmaneuver uncertainty. That is by course correcting again and again as the circumstances continue to change. Yes, we are where we are right now in terms of COVID, but there is a lot which is still happening. We know the vaccine is somewhere around the corner, but maybe it's going to take quite some time, especially to reach where we are here in Africa, and we know the limitations with our governments, etc. So some of the questions which are emerging, again, how can our organizations become resistant to this disruption? How can we deal with this disruption? What kind of people do we need to become a more resilient organization? What is happening to the engagement of individuals and teams? These are some of the questions which come up as we think about productivity going into the future. With all the disruption which COVID-19 has brought to us and to individuals, to businesses, there is going to be a lot of challenge in terms of motivating employees as we move into the future. Already there have been issues of engagement, even before COVID. Engagement has been very low, and there's been a lot of challenges in leadership to try and get employees engaged. And we were saying just before COVID that 70% of all employees are disengaged in their work. This is according to Deloitte's research 2018. This is quite concerning. big concern. But now, with COVID and all the challenges around it, impacting on on us as individuals in our personal lives, and also as workers, and also as we work in isolation in remote places, working from home, and so on. What can we do as leadership to make sure that employees remain engaged in this virtual work setting? Yes, look at this picture. What does it bring to mind? This picture tells us that we are facing a huge problem. If people could do this in the office, now that they are on their own at home, with all the associated issues at home, what are we heading to? I believe as leadership, this is one issue which should give us sleepless nights. To say, am I going to achieve my goals in this kind of environment? What can I do to deal with these challenges? How am I going to deal with this employee who is doing this in the office? Can you imagine them being alone at home? Obviously, they would immediately go to bed, even if it's during working hours. This is a big concern. This is the agility which leadership now needs to adapt, to say the old conventional way of doing things, that time is in the past. COVID-19 has necessitated the need for organizations to manage and make decisions more quickly than ever before. And we are saying organizations of all sizes have come under much pressure to make their business models fit the changing environments. And to survive and thrive in this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, leading organizations are embracing agility. We are saying leadership should now agitate for agility. It's an opportunity. There has always been the need to adapt to globalization, talent fluidity, and all these other factors. And we are saying COVID-19, because of this disruption it has brought, it is going to accelerate the agility which we have always wanted to have. Agility here being defined as reimagining an organization as a collection of high-performing teams, each with a clear purpose and the skills it needs. So leadership has got a critical role to play here in building agile teams. Agile teams which are going to deliver in a virtual work environment. So as people work in these remote setups, leadership will need to come up with ideas, creative ideas, and innovate around collaboration. What can we do to make sure that we maintain collaboration amongst employees, an open and an inclusive virtual work environment? This is not going to be easy. How can we maintain a personalized approach and ensure individual differences are taken into account? Yes, we've been talking a lot about diversity and the benefits of diversity, etc. But now that people are working in this virtual setup, how do we deal with individual challenges, be they performance issues, be they personalized issues affecting different employees? How are we going to attend to their needs? It was already difficult when they were at the office. We've been battling to build teams in the office. Sometimes having morning, afternoon, and evening meetings, but still facing challenges. So what can we do now in this virtual environment to make sure as leadership, we continue to get the results which we have always wanted? Power dynamics will always remain, even in a virtual work environment. How do we build trust in a virtual work environment? Because trust is core. We will need to keep things simple and recognize that work flexibility is gradual. I think as leadership, we need to put this to be realistic about these changes which are taking place. We will need to be emotionally more intelligent than we have been in the past. Just a second. So we are saying there is plenty of opportunities for leadership in terms of building organizations of the future and even turning this crisis into a big opportunity. That is, leadership will need to engage with employees. That is, communicating these shifts which are happening, these changes which are happening, what it means to the organization. Leadership will need to be clear, concise, and consistent in terms of messaging. There has to be open and ongoing communication with employees in this virtual work environment. And expectations need to be clear. What does the organization expect from people as they work in this remote work setup? How can we get people to collaborate in this environment? How can they share information? How can people exchange information? The issue of morale. How are we going to deal with anxieties among employees? People are in shock. People are having mental problems because their livelihoods have been completely disrupted by COVID-19. How can we make sure that we maintain the well-being and the motivation of employees as leaders? What are the things we need to change? What do we need to change now to make sure that everyone is motivated and aware and to continue to work towards the organization's goals? What can we do? These are some of the questions which I think we need to be thinking of right now. Crisis management. It has been a long and prolonged period of crisis management for leadership, for managers. We can't run into fatigue. Like I said, this is the time for leadership to demonstrate capability. Yes, employees are having so many questions. We need to be listening even more. be kind or tough. And we are saying here, we need to be kind and tough because we are going to have challenges. And we will need to have the empathy, the sympathy, to put ourselves in the shoes of the employees and to see how we can help them adapt to these changes. So Deloitte came up with some insights. Deloitte research during this COVID period, they come up with some insightful ideas on what leadership can do. And they summarized it into 5 fundamental qualities. That is, leadership will need to design from the heart and the head. That is, leadership will need to be sincere, to be empathetic. There's always been talk about leaders needing to be empathetic, but this is even a much more critical time. Putting the mission first. How do we get everyone work towards our goals and objectives? Leadership will need to stabilize the organization by defining and making sure that the future is clear and everyone knows what these changes have brought and what is the new organization is going to look like. Like we said, things are not going to remain the same. What are the opportunities in the future? What do we need to do in the future? And leadership is critical, is core to all this. Aim for speed over elegance. That is, take decisive action with courage. It's the time to make tough decisions. Yes. Tough decisions which will also need us to take consideration of the people, how these tough decisions will impact on our teams. So Deloitte is also saying we need to own the narrative, that is, inspire others to persevere. How can we inspire our colleagues, our teams in these trying times? We can't continue to lead in the same old style. We need to lead differently. So a lot will need to change if we are going to be successful in terms of making sure that our team members remain focused. And also, whilst we are clouded with this COVID-19, we need to continue to think about the long term. Where are we heading to? What do we need to do to get there? What innovations do we need to make? To deal with all these challenges. So we cannot say because it's COVID, we cannot plan for the long term. This is the most important time to start planning for the long term in these uncertain times. So a lot of innovation will be required in order to meet these challenges of the future. What do you think of that picture? Is it compliance? Is it resilience? Privilege?
Is it me,
Or
sir?
is it both?
Yeah, should be both. And additional, maybe frustration as well with the situation.
Yes. But I like this picture most because you can see these octogenarians, they are on their own somewhere, maybe in southern Bangladesh, and they are putting on their masks. And they are resisting. They are still working for the future. They are still looking into the future. So this is a very critical time. So we are saying, even though we are living in these difficult times, our future is still bright. But everything else is resting on the shoulders of leadership. Leadership must take responsibility to move organizations and our team members into the future. There is a lot we can do as leaders. There's a lot everyone else can do differently for us to get into this bright future. So we are saying, with the right leadership and approach, this crisis can become an opportunity to move forward and create even more value and a positive societal impact, rather than just bounce back to the status quo. We cannot continue or imagine going back, because the future is different, and the future is there for us to grab, and the future is ours. Thank you very much, everyone. I think there is a lot more we can do and work into the future and deal with this COVID as leadership in our various organizations. I would hand over to you, Privilege.
Okay. Thank you, Augustus. Let me just come in now. I'll open my last slide. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm bringing now is just more about how to enroll for programs from the market perspective. So I'll just be throwing in some information on our marketing. Then I'll close with another video, which I promised, which is an explanatory video on resilience and adaptability. So for now, just as stated in our introduction, that we are an organization that do capacity building. So more information on the type of programs and how do we do as far as enrollment and stuff is concerned. So as we were emphasizing the virtual aspect of it, we do offer online courses, and we also have conduct and face-to-face programs, which our clientele can enroll for. Then we are based in South Africa. That's where we host most of our trainings. We do receive delegates from all over Africa and partly Asia as well. So that's our head office is in Pretoria, South Africa. We have a sub-office in Kigali, Harare. Then we also have our satellites trainings where we normally go for team building activities. If you check, these are mostly resort areas where we mix a lot of learning and playing. Also, we have times where we are requested by delegates that maybe they want to be hosted in Mauritius or whatever. Any other place where our clientele requires, as long as it is a reasonable number, we can always organize to host them at another place other than these ones listed here. That's for face-to-face trainings. Then in terms of our fees, these are our fees and what the fees covers. So we pick our delegates from the airport upon arrival. Training materials are covered. Then we also take our delegates for sightseeing. Like here in South Africa, we go to the Mandela Museum, Apartheid Museum, Sun City, Soweto, all the places just for relaxation and also knowing about the South African history and our own history at large from the independence. Most African countries came together to fight on the independence. So the excursions are also quite educative. Our refreshments and the like. We also have support tools in that, which can be either a tablet or a laptop, a brand new, which is a take-home, given at no extra cost is part of the package. Then a certificate of completion is also issued as part of the training. So these are our fees for our conduct courses. Then online courses. Once registered, fees paid, start material will be emailed within 14 days. Those are the times for the sessions. A link will be given to you for the classes that will be run online. Then thereafter, the certificate will be couriered upon completion. That is within 21 days at most. We courier the certificate. Then these are the fees for our courses online specifically, and also what it covers. We're 4 days and also the 8 days. As given here, training materials, certificate of completion is what is covered in our online courses, and the times are relaxed from 9 to 1 p.m. All right, for more information, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to visit our website, which is given here, www.africantraining.co.za. And you can also email us on admin@africantraining.co.za or call us on these numbers. If you are to enroll in Kigali, you can also see the numbers on the website as well. All right, so yeah, basically that's it in terms of our bookings. You can also visit our website. We are available on various social networks, FB, Twitter, LinkedIn as well. So please feel free to visit and see more information there. I've seen some chats asking about where you can get this presentation. This presentation is going to be loaded on our YouTube channel for those who may need to see it more. So you can go to our website. If you go to our website, there is an icon for YouTube there, which can lead you to our YouTube channel. I will repeat for those who may need to view it later. Please visit our website. Then it will direct you to the YouTube channel where you find this link. All right, now I'm going to bring in a little video, which will be our closing video. So just a moment to we know more, we learn more about resilience and adaptability.
So what are resilience and adaptability skills, and why are they important? First, let's look at resilience. The dictionary defines resilience as either the power to return to the original form or position after being bent, compressed, or stretched, or the ability to recover readily from adversity. So resilience is coping with adversity, unpleasant, difficult, or challenging circumstances. It's sometimes referred to as bouncing back. In a sense, resilience is about how we cope with adversity on an emotional or psychological level in order to help us deal with it practically. Resilience is a quality that we possess which influences our behaviour and the actions that we take. What about adaptability? Well, adaptability is defined as the ability to change or be changed to fit changed circumstances. So adaptability is more about behaviour. It's about what we actually do when it becomes clear that something needs to change. Adaptability isn't always linked to adversity. Sometimes the change isn't particularly negative, but you still need to adapt to positive changes as well as challenges. For example, if you got a promotion at work to a management position, you might not need to be particularly resilient, but you would need to adapt to the new responsibilities. So why are these things important? Well, as an ancient Greek philosopher once said, change is the only constant. If there is one thing that is certain, it's that we need to be able to cope with change in life. And sometimes that change can be difficult. Perhaps something that we weren't expecting or we don't really want to be happening. And that's where resilience comes in. Resilience and adaptability are therefore closely linked and often talked about together. Going back to our dictionary definitions, we considered that one definition of resilience talks about returning to the original form or position. So in other words, perhaps we've coped, but we haven't necessarily moved on. For employability, and probably for all aspects of life, the real value is in combining the quality of resilience with the skill of adaptability, not just coping, but also growing, learning, and changing to fit new circumstances rather than remaining static. Some people are probably naturally more resilient than others. Just as with all employability skills and attributes, different people have different strengths and personal characteristics. But resilience and adaptability can be developed. The first step is self-awareness. How resilient and adaptable are you?
All right, thank you.
Created using Powtoon.
All right, just a moment. All right, yeah, so that's mostly on resilience. They say change is the only constant. All right. The moment there is a shift, like as our title was, the winds of change, there is a global shift in the way how business is done. So basically, this aspect is just to show us that the moment there is a shift in everything, if you sit and remain here in South Africa, we have a Zulu phrase that says "walala wasala." If you sleep, you remain, you stay behind. So whenever there is change, we move with the change. We have to catch up with the change. The moment there is a change in technology, a change in how business is done, whichever way, the only way for a business to survive is to adapt and follow, rediscover itself and find new ways of doing business. All right, so from me, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for being part of this webinar. I've seen while we were already in the room, more people were coming in more and more. We appreciate you. I've seen several people come in. I see Kenya, Uganda, Mauritius again, and somewhere writing in French, which unfortunately I'm not able to know where. Anyway, one of the French-speaking countries, or more. Okay, this one is Benin. Is it called Benin or Benin? Not sure how they pronounce it in French. It's written in French anyway, so welcome you all. We thank you rather, as you are going out. I'm sure these ones came a bit late. So we thank you for gracing, for passing by. And this has been the last webinar for the year of lessons. We can all say 2020 was our year. Nobody should not say 2020 was not my year. This has been our year. We all learned a lot in this year. We learned a lot of lessons, something that we had never learned in life. So 2020 has been everyone's year, the greatest of the years. So I thank you. We'll meet in the other webinar in the next year. I will just give Augustus to say some few words before we part.
Thank you, Privilege. I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our webinar. We look forward to meeting you here in Pretoria or in our other satellite training venues. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. You have a wonderful month on the remaining of the days. To Christians, we say Merry Christmas. To non-Christians, we say Happy Holidays till we meet again. Thank you.